We have 5 basic principles for racism. The first one is that racism can occur in any culture regardless of skin color. And the reason that this is one of our core principles is there seems to be some sort of bias towards people of color, thinking that people of color can't be racist. Yet I've grown up all over the world. I've grown up in the Middle East. I've grown up in Africa. I've grown up in India. And I can tell you that people of color are some of the most racist people in the world. Take, for instance, India. They have the caste system there. People of a lower caste are discriminated far more than people of a higher caste. In fact, one of the funny things about India is that fair-skinned people are valued more than dark-skinned people. It's a funny joke. When a baby is born, one of the first questions grandmothers ask is, how fair is the child? Talk about racism against skin color. It's all over the place. So that's number one. And I think it's kind of very dangerous for us to think that, oh, only white people can be racist. No, there are racists in every culture, every color, and every ethnicity. So secondly, objective moral laws exist independent of human experience. And one of the reasons why this is important is because there seems to be, with CRT, there seems to be this push towards, well, it depends on who you are and what your past experience is. Or worse, not only what your past experience is, but what the past experience of your ancestors are. Well, this has nothing to do with anything because objective moral laws come from the objective moral law giver. If you don't have an objective moral law giver, then nobody has the authority to enforce that law on anyone else. So if there is an objective moral law giver, it has to be the only person who has authority over every other human being. And the only person with authority over every other human being is the creator of all human beings. And so therefore, objective moral laws come from the creator of all human beings and not from anybody, not from any experience, not from any person, not from any race, not from any color, and not from any ethnicity or culture. And in line with that, your past experience, your culture's past experience do not qualify you or your views as moral or immoral because it's based on an objective moral law giver. And that's not you or your culture. So racism is not passed on through blood, but through purposeful doctrine. If somebody acts like a racist ignorantly or says something that demeans another culture, but then when you correct them and you say, well, look, that was demeaning of another culture, oh, I'm sorry, and corrects their action, that's not a racist person. That's just a person who just needs to be educated. But if somebody then being told that continues to then call out or continues to degrade a culture or a person because of the color of skin, then they are racist. But there is a caveat to this. If somebody disparages another culture because of an immoral act, for instance, if you say, hey, look at those people, let's say they are the Alca Indians, and they practice cannibalism, and that's wrong, that's bad. That's not being a racist. That's actually talking about an immoral action, and that is cannibalism, and that's not being racist. That's actually using the objective moral law of God to say that life is precious and you shouldn't be killing people and eating them. It's quite simple. The last one is that there is no such thing as a social justice. There's either moral justice or injustice. I mean, and this is very important that we understand this. The left and Marxists have tried to create this rift between us by calling things social justice. But social justice, most of the social justice causes are actually just socialism. They want socialism. They want to equalize people's result and not equalize people's opportunity. And so that's socialism. And even with opportunity, we have to be careful how we adjudicate that. And that's probably time that we'll have to discuss that at a different time. But most of the social justice things are like if you say, hey, we need a minimum wage. Turns out minimum wage is really bad for Black people. It's very bad for poor people. But that's a socialist concept. Minimum wage is a socialist concept created by actually racists back in the 1930s because they didn't like the jobs that Black people were taking from the white people. There are some true justice issues, and that is the rights that we have, the inalienable rights. But most of what social justice is called is actually not social justice or not justice at all, but just merely socialism being enacted. And we do an entire presentation on the difference between social justice and true justice.